Now that Ellen's daytime show is officially ending, a lot of celebrities will probably avoid being seen with the disgraced host. But there are some celebrities that have already made their disdain for Ellen well known. And those are the celebs that we're going to be talking about in today's video. I'm Mackenzie Smith, and let's get into the top 10 Hollywood celebrities who avoid Ellen DeGeneres. But first, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. In at number 10, Katherine Kelly Lang. An old clip from a TV show has just resurfaced, and it shows some celebrities talking about Ellen's mean streak years before it happened. Soap actress Katherine Kelly Lang and entertainment reporter Richard Reed had the conversation on a 2019 episode of I'm a Celebrity. When someone asked who the biggest mole in Hollywood was, Reed whispered, quote, "Ellen, not nice." Lang agreed, saying, quote, "She's great to watch on her show and everything, but I think her personality is completely different when you get her behind the scenes." Reed then replied, quote, "I've heard it's hard to work on her show." And after exposing Ellen like that, I'm sure the two stars did everything possible to avoid her. It's crazy how much they knew though way back in 2019. In at number 9, NikkieTutorials. Nikki DeJagger, aka NikkieTutorials, was the first and probably most famous influencer to sound the alarm about Ellen. And obviously after exposing Ellen like that, Nikki hoped she would never run into her again. Nikki appeared on the show after her coming out video went viral online. However, later on a Dutch talk show, she exposed the experience was not what she expected. When asked about the Ellen show, she said, quote, "Let me say there's a big difference between this show and Ellen DeGeneres, and I'm saying that in favor of this show." Adding, quote, "It's nice that you say hi before the show." She didn't. Nikki later told the Dutch magazine NC, quote, "Call me naive, but I kind of expected to be welcomed with confetti cannons. Welcome to the Ellen DeGeneres show. But instead I was greeted by an angry intern who was a bit overworked." Nikki knew that she would be blacklisted from Ellen's show and possibly many others for telling the truth, but we are all glad that she did. In at number 8, Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson is probably a little bit scared of Ellen right now because her name is synonymous with the takedown of Ellen. After Ellen announced that she was leaving her show, memes of their interaction started to go viral online. And it's clear that Ellen probably hates Dakota right now. The spat between them started because of Dakota's birthday party. Basically, Ellen called Dakota out on the show for not inviting her to the party. But Dakota clapped back that she actually did invite Ellen. This put Ellen totally on the spot, where she had to come up with a lie very quickly. Dakota later awkwardly called Tina Turner her favorite comedian as well, which was kind of a Ellen. Dakota also flat out said in the interview, quote, "I didn't even know you liked me," to Ellen. I'm sure Dakota never expected her comments to go viral the way they did, and Dakota is hoping that she doesn't see Ellen anytime soon. Or at least I know if I was Dakota, I would literally do everything possible to avoid Ellen for the rest of my life. In at number 7, Brad Garrett. Back when Ellen was first exposed, one of the only celebrities to call her out was the Everybody Loves Raymond actor Brad Garrett. He exposed her in a slew of tweets because he was clearly fed up with her behavior. He wrote on Twitter that her behavior was not a shock to him or anyone else in the industry for that matter. He replied to a tweet about the Ellen scandal and added, quote, "Sorry, but it comes from the top, the Ellen show. No more than one who were treated horribly by her. Common knowledge." His tweet is now deleted. Garrett had appeared on the show multiple times before he made his statements, but clearly he didn't have a great experience and knew those comments would ruin his relationship with Ellen forever, but clearly he didn't seem to care. In at number 6, Caitlyn Jenner. If you watched the last interview Ellen did with Caitlyn shortly after her transition, then you definitely know why Ellen will not be having her back on the show. Caitlyn even claimed that Ellen told her she was blacklisted. In her memoir, The Secrets of My Life, Caitlyn called out Ellen specifically for, quote, alienating her from the LGBTQ community by not allowing Caitlyn to come on her show. However, many could argue that Caitlyn alienated herself because of the controversial comments that she made in that interview. In the 2015 interview, Ellen asked about Caitlyn's stance on gay marriage. She replied, quote, "I have to admit that I remember 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever it was that whole gay marriage issue came up, I was not for it." Adding, quote, "If that word marriage is important to you, I can go with it." And from Caitlyn's tone, it didn't seem genuine to Ellen, and Ellen called Caitlyn out on her hypocrisy, as Caitlyn wanted to be respected for being trans, but Caitlyn was still being apprehensive towards gay marriage. After this spat, it was clear the relationship was incredibly tense. Halfway at number 5, Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin has actually gotten into multiple feuds with Ellen, so I would assume both of them avoid each other at all costs. Kathy exposed Ellen in her book, Celebrity Run-Ins: My A to Z Index. In that book, Griffin called out Ellen without saying her name, saying, quote, "I'm almost positive a certain beloved daytime talk show host once had me kicked out of a backstage dressing room at the Emmy Awards." Griffin basically confirmed it was Ellen when she added that this person, quote, "has short blonde hair and a mean streak all of Hollywood knows about." But this wasn't all. After Joan Rivers passed away, Griffin feuded with Ellen once again because of her decision to not do a memoriam segment on the comedian. Griffin said, quote, "There's so few female comics over 50. I wish we were better at supporting each other." In at number 4, Callum Scott. Callum Scott exposed Ellen following her scandal for an awkward moment that he had before going on her show. He told the Daily Star Online that right before he was about to go on stage, he was walking with a stage member. Scott was telling the Ellen crew member, quote, "I told him I can't believe I'm getting to do this." And he was like, "Yeah, it's so amazing, but remember not to look Ellen in the eye. Everything else is fine, but just don't look her in the eye." Scott was obviously taken aback by this and wasn't sure how to respond. But moments later, Ellen's staff said that they were actually just joking and it was some sort of prank. And that's just a very strange prank considering many people claimed this was a real rule that Ellen had for her staff. And even if it was just a harmless prank, that's a really stupid prank to make to someone who is incredibly nervous to be going on stage and performing. In at number 3, Celine Dion. Celine Dion had a very awkward encounter with Ellen while she was on her show, and it left many of Celine's fans with a bad impression of Ellen, probably including Celine herself. While Celine was being interviewed, Ellen showed a picture of Celine's son that had very long hair at the time. Ellen said, quote, "Look at him. He is beautiful, but look at his hair. When are you gonna cut that hair?" Celine instantly clapped back saying, "You got a problem with that?" Adding, quote, "Some people shave the head of their children and people say, oh, isn't that terrible? I don't even cut my son's hair and they say, oh my God, when is she gonna cut her son's hair? You know, whatever I do, I won't please everyone." And you could cut the tension in that conversation with a knife. Celine has been back on the show since that incident, but I'm sure Ellen treads very lightly in her conversations now. In at number 2, Drew Barrymore. This one is probably going to be hard for a lot of you to believe, but apparently Ellen and Drew Barrymore do not like each other. And when they worked on the same show together, they butted heads a lot. The show was NBC's First Dates that launched in April of 2017. It was executive produced by Ellen DeGeneres and narrated by Drew Barrymore, so clearly a star-studded group. But according to In Touch Weekly, their relationship was not good. A source told the Meg, quote, "Ellen and Drew were a case of oil and water." Adding, quote, "Ellen expected to be the one calling the shots, but Drew thought she should have creative control because she's the movie star people were tuning in to see." The show only aired for 1 season, so thankfully they didn't have to work together long, but now that Drew is in the daytime talk show business, I'm sure Ellen is even less fond of her. And finally, at number 1, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan feuds with a lot of people, and unsurprisingly, Ellen was one of those people. Their feud is actually because of Katy Perry. Basically, for Katy Perry's birthday in 2017, Ellen wished her a happy birthday on Twitter, writing, quote, "Happy birthday, Katy Perry. It's time to bring out the big balloons." Ellen included a photo of her staring at Perry's breasts jokingly, but many people did not think it was funny and labeled it as a form of sexual harassment. Some even compared Ellen to Harvey Weinstein. A lot of men in the industry also spoke out against it, saying the situation would have been a lot different if a man tweeted out the same thing. One of the most vocal critics was Piers Morgan, criticizing her for the sexist double standard. He also feuded with her in 2016 after she showed a shirtless picture of Chris Hemsworth during an acceptance speech. With Morgan writing, quote, "I was disgusted. In fact, I've never been so offended by anything in my entire life." So that's all for the list, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from celebrities that are mean in real life part 4. Shannon said, "Desperate Housewives, hands down top 10 of my favorites. I think it and Lost holds a place in my heart. My stepdad who passed away started those shows. Seeing them end was kind of hard on me for that reason." Yeah, Desperate Housewives is easily probably my top 3 favorites. Yeah, that's sad about that memory. It's kind of nice in a way you have that you can like cherish the shows with him, but yeah, sad that they're over. Then Audra said, "I'm glad I'm not the only one who moves on and doesn't get back into a relationship once it's over. Thanks for sharing, commenting on my comment. I always enjoy your videos. Thank you so much." Yeah, I feel like it's like 2 separate groups. Either you're an off and on again kind of person, or you're a cut and done person. Woodis Smootist said, "I usually ghost people. That's how my relationships end." That is crazy to me. I'm one of those people, I really don't ghost people. because I just like need people to know what's up, especially if they like annoyed me. Like I try and be nice about it if I am like, you know, ending something, but no, like I let it happen. Like I let them know what's going on. I don't like leaving people in the dark, you know? Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith. Make sure to check us out on social media, and I will catch you all in the next one.